All right, good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Wednesday, May 14th, 2025 Douglas Planning Board meeting. Time is 7 p.m. Call the meeting to order. Just around the table for attendance, Jacob Schultzberg here.
Meg Schlesman here.
Aaron Sokrat here. Mike DeRose here.
Rich Preston.
Mike Greco here.
Mike Zwicker here.
And Ernest Marks excused, and Mr. Gnotik also reached out to me, and he's excused as well. No A&Rs, no public hearings, and we're going to jump right to ongoing development, the Cubes at Gilboa, minor site change, possible votes. Todd?
Yes, sir. So the first thing I'm going to do is fall on the sword and apologize.
First thing I do is just introduce yourself.
Todd Morey, Principal Deals Associates, here on
And-
behalf of CRG.
And Bob and Eric is also here. All right, what's going on, Todd?
So I'm going to fall on the sword for not getting this to you before. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of a belt and suspenders approach to that tank, which I'll talk about more
You
in a
stole
minute.
my pen.
And my thought was, well, we're not expanding building, we're not expanding pavement, we're not changing anything really. We're adding whatever it is, 80 feet or so of 8-inch drainage pipe, and we'll just get that done and take care of it. With a conversation with Mr. Frazier, he said, well, you should probably go to the planning board. My success in arguing with any building commissioner is about the same as my success in arguing with the fire chief, which is 0, so I don't even know how to
Said your
try.
wife.
Or my wife? Good point. I hope she's not watching on Zoom tonight. She might be. But anyway, so that's why I'm here.
Okay.
As some of you may know, most of this work has already been completed. Andy Leonard's putting in that pipe. So here's the reason for it. There's nothing broken. There's nothing not functioning. Everything's functioning great. If you've been out there trying to catch water in the basin, you better do it right when the rain stops. Otherwise, that basin is pretty much dry all the time. And with the way the weather and the climate's been changing and things like that, we're starting to get nervous on a lot of these drainage systems that were built to normal standards. And the specific thing that we're getting very nervous about is the high-intensity storms that we're seeing in the summertime, and now we're actually starting to see them coming in the late winter, early spring, when ground is frozen, and when you have other environmental issues going on. And not only are we getting them frequently, and the system can handle them if we get one, but my concern is what happens when we get 2, back-to-back, with almost no break in between. So the infiltration basin, the pond, if you will, when we remediated that, we put some extra volume in it because what happened was when we started to do our investigations about what was going on there, when we punched down through the silt layer, we also found some unsuitable materials that have been buried who knows when. Probably sometime in the 70s, 80s, 90s, we just don't know. It was a long time ago. We took those out, and rather than bring in a whole bunch of new fill, we just left the basin bottom low by about 4 feet. So that gave us a little bit of volume. And then when we tested, we got an incredible infiltration rate. And the average across the entire bottom was almost 20 inches per hour. The design on that was 8.3 inches per hour. So it was an incredible rate. There are areas in there that were infiltrating it right around 60 inches per hour, which is amazing. So we had that high rate. We had a lot more capacity in there. The tank itself, the infiltration tank, it's draining, but it's draining slow. And it's draining slower than we had hoped. What we believe is there's 2 things that are going on underneath that thing. One, we saw some photographs that were taken in the early parts of construction, and they used that area as a sediment basin. We think that maybe all that sediment didn't get cleaned out. And we also think there's a potential for more of those unsuitables to be in that general area, below where we would have normally excavated to prep for the base of that tank. So the result is it's not draining as fast as we'd like it. Will it drain? Yeah, it'll drain. But I want it to drain faster for just that reason I mentioned. What happens when you get 2 of those big storms back to back and they come in rapidly? So the thought was, let's put that small pipe in there. And the reason it's a small pipe is that it controls the discharge of it, keeps it going fairly slow, and allows the basin to still function. I included a summary table in this letter to you to show you what we were seeing for function on the basin. And it turns out that with the increased volume that we found, as well as the high infiltration rate, it actually performs better than what we had designed for at the beginning of the project. So that's the reason we are here.
Okay. Can you just confirm, are you adding one or are you upgrading? Is it an upgrade or is it an addition?
We're adding a pipe.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And what that'll do is that'll allow the tank to actually drain out a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And if you recall, that tank receives only rooftop runoff.
Can I
Yeah.
ask a question? Does that tank potentially get silt at the bottom of the tank or sediment? And will this actually help drain that out because it's at the bottom?
It does not get sediment anymore. So there was a source of sediment. There was some contention about where it came from. And both CRG and our opinion to what we were telling the contractor was there should never be any sediment in there, because the only thing that's plugged into that tank is the roof.
Right.
So unless you have sediment on the roof,
Good, all right.
there
Right.
shouldn't be any in there.
But having the pipe at the bottom makes sense.
Having the pipe at the bottom just helps draw that down.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So just before we put everything into service, the original contractor, Clayco, hired a crew to come in. Maybe some of you guys saw it. I know Bob was certainly out there. Your fire department was out there because it's confined space. They went in, they cleaned it, they videoed it. There was an area in there where they found about a foot of sediment down in the end. So we think what they may have been doing was maybe dewatering before they poured the slab, which would have been quite some time ago. But we got that taken care of.
All right. All right, board. Any other questions, comments?
More of a purge pipe, really.
Yeah.
Just trying to purge it before it gets, start letting the tank drain out before, it'll still hold water.
Oh,
Then it'll come up to the main pipe.
Yep.
And then they'll both be, if it ever happens, both of them would be discharging, right?
Right, so what my concern was if we get those back-to-backs, and that tank isn't partially drained down, and I think we would have had to drain it, if the tank was about half level, it could accommodate the second major
Right.
storm. And by major storm, just to be clear, I'm talking about 8 inches of rain or so in a 24-hour period, so that's a lot. What would have happened was the tank would have topped out, and it actually would have come up out of the manhole covers.
Manholes, yeah.
And then it would have flowed overland into the basin.
Yeah.
And if you get that, then what you're getting is you're getting the potential for sedimentation in the basin, and it just causes a lot more problems than we want to deal with. So like I said, this was really a belt and suspenders, call it a nervous engineer. The way I phrased it to the guys in my office was, look, I've been out here enough for this basin. I like Douglas, it's nice to come out here, but I don't want to be coming out here all the time
Yeah.
for just that. There's other things I'd rather be doing here.
Yeah, all right. All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minor modification.
So
It's
move.
a minor site change for the cubes at Gilboa. It's special permit 220215.
So move.
Second.
Made by Mr. Sokrat, second by Mr. Greco. Any further discussion? Nope. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous.
Thank you so
Very
much.
good, sir.
All set?
Thank you, appreciate it.
Good luck with everything else.
Yeah, hopefully from my end, everything else is all set. I know Mr. Fraser has a few comments and questions about the building itself, but I think from the civil end and the site end, it's in good shape.
And thanks for being proactive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like I said,
Yeah,
I
you don't-
probably should have, but I wasn't going to argue with him either.
Good job.
Have a good
All right,
day.
thank you, Todd. Thank you, Bob. All right.
Special guest?
You good? Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, additional business. Hey, Director of Community Development Update. Miss Jen.
Yes, so on Tuesday, May 20th, we will have John Charbonneau joining our team. His resume is in your packages to take a look at, but I've been involved with the interviewing and as well as a couple of the members here. And I think we have a good candidate, and I'm hoping he'll reach out to you guys and starting introducing himself, and I have a whole stack of stuff ready for him to go. So I'm looking forward to having some support in my department and you guys having a director too.
Amiable.
Awesome.
All right.
I'd like to say to the chair, thank you for carrying the load in the interim.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot to get dumped on you, but really appreciate it, because the meetings that's been going great and everything else. Thanks, Chen.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And you have a no
You haven't
trade,
gotten rid of me yet.
you have a,
Almost did.
you have a no trade clause.
Exactly.
Definitely.
All right. Master plan, Mr. Preston? Was there a meeting between?
There wasn't.
Okay, there wasn't?
There was,
Oh.
well, yes and no.
No?
We haven't met since we last met.
Okay.
I did update you on our last meeting. And our next meeting is Wednesday, the 21st, I believe.
Yep.
And we'll be, at that time, we'll be finishing the vision statement, hopefully. We'll wrap that up. Also, an interesting development. We had been talking a lot about a river walk, trying to utilize the resource downtown, somehow connecting it to the businesses downtown, increasing foot traffic, and having a broad conversation. So Margaret Bacon, who's an engineer, has put together a preliminary plan, and we'll
Wow.
be talking about that. So
Nice.
She's all over it. And there also may be some property for sale that beyond what the town already owns. So we'll be looking into that, too.
Oh, that's great.
Obviously on the
On the river.
main road, Main Street side of the river.
I believe so.
Yeah.
She's a go-getter.
What time is that meeting and where is it?
Yeah.
Here?
She was all over it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Is it in the resource room? Where's the meeting?
It's in here.
Okay, at 7 or what?
Well, if you come, we'll have a quorum. So we'd have to post it as a
Planning
planning board meeting?
Oh, then I won't come. That's fair enough.
You can certainly go and sit in the audience, but I don't think you'd.
No, I would not sit, I'd
Participate,
sit up
yeah.
there and listen. Yeah.
You'd be a silent listener?
Yeah, it can happen, you know. What time is that?
It's 5.
5.
Pretty early.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I look forward to more updates and hearing about that Riverwalk further. It found to be great for the town, so.
Just one more year to go. June 2026 is when we're supposed to be done with this.
Okay. And Mr. Charbonneau is aware that they're
Yes.
in the midst of,
Been involved with the master plan previously, so.
okay. All right, so his second day on, he's going to be here late. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. And then in the packet, it was just handed out, we have a draft preliminary report based off of Brown Road Industrial Park. If the members just want to take a look at that, if there's anything that may have been missed or you think we need to add based on the discussion we had, please feel free to add some comments to this. And with this, Jen will give it to the new planning director and get the legality of it figured out and passed along.
One thing through the chair was brought up on the, his original entrance going into it was a standard entrance area. I want those radiuses all opened up, just like we did in
Yeah.
Legacy Circle area for truck traffic and things.
So we need to
The
be
last item.
more specific on the last.
Yeah, but that's the turning radius for the, either that or was that for the
I
cul-de-sac?
think that's for the cul-de-sac.
entrance, 'cause the
That was going to be for the entrance, okay.
We
Because I
should
think
say-
they're talking about a cul-de-sac, aren't they on this one now?
We
Potentially.
suggested that. We suggested that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was something that.
I think it was suggested if Brown Road couldn't meet the the need for it.
Through the chair, the concern that legal counsel had was that if Brown Road becomes zoned residential, then you can't have an industrial exit to a residential road. It doesn't matter if it's private or public. It's the fact that it's going to be residential. And that was voted on in the town meeting. So there can't be an exit there.
Okay, through the chair, for clarity, I would, for that last item, to what Mike brought up, expand turning radius for trucks at North Ave, or North Street? What is it called, North Street? North
Yeah,
Street.
North
So
Street.
we know what we're talking about, what street? So North Street?
Yeah.
And then, under consider cul-de-sac, no S, yes, instead of proposed use of Brown Road at all. I'm trying to make a clear point that they should take that out of the equation completely. I think we all kind of don't want them using Brown.
Well, they can't now.
They can't now, but we just want to make a point of.
Yep.
Through the chair, does that mean that they have to come with a new draft?
Yeah.
No.
They can come with a,
I think the
Plan.
purpose of the preliminary is to show it a preliminary, get our comments, concerns, and then
Before they-
down the road, they'll
yeah.
come in with
Yeah.
a legitimate request.
yeah.
It was only
So-
informative, what they did.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Chairman, if I could have a question. So you're saying the council said, at our last meeting, the road was going to be zoned,
He said that
or rezoned?
it doesn't matter if the road is public or private. A road's a road. And the real issue is what the gentleman, Mr. Slocum, wanted, the two gentlemen that came to us for that Brown Road rezoning. Since they have land that's in Douglas that was industrial, they wanted to make it residential so that if they sell land or one of them wants to possibly subdivide in Sutton, the access is from Brown Road. Having it be residential, then he doesn't have a problem with the rezone, with the doing a development.
So my question is, because I went to the assessor's office because I was concerned the presentation, the image wasn't clear in terms of exactly where the lot lines were.
It wasn't
how-
clear,
How
yeah.
big the lots were, so I did get some information. It's just over 2.5 acres, the total area that was changed. And those lot lines ended at the road, I believe, not over the road, as I saw it. And when I mentioned to the assessor that we were concerned about the zone change,
Yeah.
he said, roads aren't zoned. Roads don't have a zone, according to him.
Well,
All public roads are used for industrial or residential.
Correct.
They all, so I wouldn't get
That's
on.
a
I
mere
just-
subject, I
I
think.
think Brown Road is just not to standard, and they shouldn't be using it.
That could be an issue. right.
That's more the point, I think, that we need to stay with, that it's not to standard and should not be used for egress for their industrial use. So I'm not sure.
I don't know, I know we're not in the original presentation, but I looked at the zoning requirements for industrial, and I'm pretty sure that it says something about the residential streets or residential roadways.
North Street's residential,
It is, yeah,
so that mutes
I
that.
think they are
that mutes
used
that right there.
universally,
yeah,
but to have tractor trailers go down Little Brown Road in a neighborhood,
That's-
you know.
It's something to.
terrible.
To get more information on.
Yeah.
Right,
That-
So maybe,
So back to the original question, what council said was,
Right.
the status of the road being public or private didn't matter, it was the zoning. And if it's, I believe if it's a private road, then the zoning extends to the center of the road.
Ownership would
All right,
extend to the
well-
zone, but that's.
But that's, it's
So-
not zone,
so how about we just add status of Brown Road, keep in parentheses, private/public, and then also residential/industrial. And that's for the developer to research further, to come
Right.
to the table.
Yep.
So, we're not making a decision, but it's
No.
for them to research
no,
before they come to the
that's a
table.
great way to put it.
And if we could, and I didn't see it on the map, coming out of their industrial park on the North Street, how wide is North Street at that point?
Right now, it's about 24 feet.
So I'm just trying to get at, so you could take a straight truck, 50 feet long, how's that radius going to be made? And then, I mean, they're out there all
What street's
over
a
the
little
place.
road? It's not a big.
So, knowing the radius is on in and out, on the north, are they gonna be turning into the neighbor's yard across the street to make the corner? What's gonna go on in that area?
Yeah, there's,
You know, you have a lowboy, a 3-axle tractor and a 4-axle trailer, he's 90-something feet long. Is he gonna make that swing? And they're gonna say, well, it's never gonna be in there. Don't ever say it's never gonna be in there. You're building an industrial park. You plan for the worst, not say it ain't ever gonna happen.
Through the chair, I mean,
That's important.
right,
on
they're
going
planning
in
for
and out of
success. They can't say
that area.
it's going to be a very few trucks. They're planning and investing to be a lot of trucks because
It's an
it's
industrial
what their business is.
It-
And that is a little ass road.
So on the bottom one then, concerns of turn and radius,
onto North Street.
you know, onto North Street. Just truck,
In and out of-
truck and trailer turning onto North Street.
But they have that right, onto North Street.
Yeah, I mean, that comes, I
There's
know
frontage.
where I'm at for work, they need to go on the sidewalk on Route 56 to make the corner coming out of Sterling Way when they come out of the road. So, it's the only way you're making the swing.
All right, any other points that we may have missed?
Through the chair, there is one other thing related to that, and it's the, I wish Bob was still here.
Water.
No, the North Street rebuild. There's a plan to completely redo North Street, adding sidewalks, and it's
Yeah?
going to, yeah,
Oh, I didn't.
yeah.
we didn't-
And
Well, that's under the water sewer system comment. He had comments on it.
yeah, it's
So-
all, that's part of it.
Yeah.
They're going to upgrade the water and the sewer also.
Yeah.
So North Street, at that point in time, won't necessarily be 24 feet wide, but it's going to be different.
Chicken or egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a plan, a preliminary plan.
But through the chair, the water commissioner, is he the one, what's his position? System manager. He says, no way am I taking up and holding all that water for these industrial sites. They're going to have to take it as it comes. And if we run it, we don't have it, we don't have it. So that's his business. You know, we have to listen to him. So
Yeah, that's in here.
Thank you.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
it is.
All right, so
Yep.
those are the
Well, thank you.
comments, and
Thank you.
we'll get those submitted back to them. Any other updates you can think of, Jen? Okay.
If I can, back on this one, through the chair. I think we brought up about putting bounds in and stuff, and he was kind of against it, because he's saying it's an industrial park. We want to make sure in any print that there's going to be the bounds put in,
Oh, yeah.
bound
They're
markers.
usually bring that up. In that,
Because he didn't have, I don't think he had anything on that preliminary,
It might not have,
but we
Been
brought
that
it up,
far,
and he
yeah.
goes, why do I need that?
we can
I'm
add that.
pretty sure.
Want to add that, the bounds?
And it would be a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
that-
so that's something we can stick it in
Yeah,
during the
I'm
regular
just-
hearing.
Just for info, yeah.
You know, that 10% grade is scary. That's quite a grade, you know, for the roads there. Remember they were coming out and sight lines and all that stuff, so, yeah, whatever.
All right, meeting minutes.
Let's do those.
I glanced over both of them, so we'll start with March 26, 2025 meeting minutes. I glanced them over, I didn't see it, nothing jumped out at me. Anyone have any comments, or?
Through the chair, a couple very minor things. On item 1, the Hutnacks, shouldn't that have an apostrophe?
Oh, you're picky.
Plural?
Well, you know, we got to get names right.
Because the name is not Hutnacks, it's Hutnack.
Yeah.
Item number 4, to me, it reads a little funny, and
Yeah.
it says, Rich Preston gave an update on where they are at, what the next steps are with the committee. So I think it should be where they are at and what the next steps
Or
are.
just change at to and.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, either way. Number 9. They discussed. I think it was the board discussed. That's everything I found.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to accept the meeting minutes as amended for March 26, 2025.
Sorry, so moved.
Second?
Made by Mr. Preston, second by Mr. Rose. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. And April 9, 2025.
And I handed in the Mullen on that one, so. On March.
I didn't see anything.
Oh, it should be referenced. Well, I don't know that it needs to be. I've done it.
Yeah, I just don't know if that has to be listed in there, the if,
I'll
okay. So, one minor modification. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to accept the meeting minutes as amended for Wednesday, April 9, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Made by Mr. Zwicker, second by Ms. Schlesman. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Jen, do you see anything that we may have missed?
As far as I know, I have nothing further for this.
Okay.
We do have public hearings for our next meeting. It's an ADU, but because of the bylaw change and missing bylaws that haven't been accepted yet, we're still going to use the old bylaws. It's just a regular accessory apartment. So,
Okay. All right. Well, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Made by Mrs. Zwicker, second by Mr. Preston. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. We are adjourned.